I am Sharon Jackson, and I got into writing because I have nightmares, and so from the age of 13, I started writing them down, and then they became transferred them into crime scenes. So all of my crimes are me being murdered. There you go.
What drew you into your current genre or style?
So I read a lot, and I've always been interested in crimes. I like the solving puzzles and things like that as well. So I like the speed of it, and like keeping things fast paced and like guessing and stuff like that. So, and also like terror's crime, it fit. But
Yeah.
I do I have started writing a fantasy series, but that was from another dream that I then embellished on. At the moment, I'm writing the Haunted Past series. Well, I've written it, it's just going through edits, so they're catching up. There are 10 books in that series. I'm currently just releasing 6, so there's another 4.
Can you give us a brief summary and description about that series?
The series is based on a foster family. It begins with D.I. Devlin Doyle, who is a detective of the past, but he can't remember it. And he's moved because of an incident to another department, and in the MCU unit, which is the Major Crimes Unit headquarters, which covers all of Welwyn Garden City and 2 other counties. And he meets Serenity Wren Jones, who's been told to babysit him, essentially, and she's not overly happy about it. She's a woman who's struggling in a man's world to try and hold a position, and she doesn't want to be the babysitter. And then they are investigating a series of assaults that then turns to murder, and that's how the story begins. But along the series, his foster siblings arrive to help him out. There's an incident later, and they basically come to help him. So as it goes, every book is a domino effect. So they were all pulled from within a crime network and placed in one home. So as one finishes, it sets off the events of the next book. So it follows through the whole family, if that makes sense.
That's really interesting.
So the first 2 are Dev, the 3rd book is Ren, Raven is 4, Stephen is 5, Kerry is 6, 7 is Gabe, 8 is Amira, and 9 is Ash and Jen, 10 is Chris. So it goes through, and all of the events unravel because of something that happened in the previous book. So then it's like a big mess.
Interconnecting them.
But
I
yeah,
love the
so I call
concept
them
of that,
the
though.
Doyle delinquents because they're all Devlin Doyle, Raven Doyle. So they're the Doyle delinquents, and they basically get into loads of trouble. But they're a fun family. It's quite entertaining.
It does sound very interesting and entertaining, definitely.
My favourite is Kerry, but that's another story.
What's the main sort of tropes, would you say? I know there's 10 books, but in that series, what would you say the main sort of tropes?
Well, there are a lot of found family. There's some of those in there. Some enemies to lovers type things as well. Also, there's a lot of ones. Mystery. There's a bit of thriller. It's fast-paced action type thing. It's pretty quick. It's one of those where it's like you're like ah. My
I
editor
feel like
always
it
says, she
needs
goes,
to
in
be
one
when it's
minute
10
you're
books,
on
though.
it's like a roller coaster. One minute it's very, very dark, and she's like, oh my god, and then the next minute it's the complete opposite. So because I work in palliative care, so there's a dark humour type thing that runs through it. So when it gets to the dark bits, I flip to a different character and it'll be something ridiculous. So it's sort of
Keep you
it
on your
balances it
toes.
out. There'll be something really ridiculous, which I will sit there laughing about. I'm going to go to hell.
Keep the reader thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, so she says, 1 minute I'm like, she's right, and oh my god, I can't believe you did that. And the next minute she's going, I am absolutely crying. My childcare, she goes to soft play. She goes, the soft play people are looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm laughing to myself. I look like an insane person.
You know it's a good book, though, when that happens.
I like to think so. It keeps you going. So it is your typical sort of family type situation where in 1 minute they're all on each other's sides. It's a strong foster family once they're together. It's like a wolf pack, but they also bicker and argue and do stupid things, like wind each other up. It's more about finding your people because they're all outcasts. So it's about finding your own people and then being comfortable in that thing, even though they're all very, very different.
That's what makes it fun, though. The
Yeah.
fan family trope, but having so many different personalities in that family is just great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you were saying how your friend burst out laughing at the softcat. It's when you have an audiobook or you can listen to the book and suddenly
Yeah,
you're walking down the street and you're like howling. Everyone's
yeah.
going to be thinking, what on earth? So for a book to do that, it is a
Yeah,
surefire sign that it's a
I
great
sit
book.
there waiting for her to get to it. At one point, I'd forgotten I'd written something because she's quite a way behind me. And so I'd just finished writing that. I was writing the next series I was starting. And she went, I can't believe you did that to me. And I was like, what did I do? I'd already forgotten. God, oh yeah, sorry about that. Forgot.
Thanks for reminding me. That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're on that book. Sorry about that.
What was the first book, would you say, that made you fall in love with that genre? Do you remember there being one that really stood out to you?
I don't know that there was a first one because I've read a lot of books from a young age, but there is one that I was reading Karen Slaughter specifically, and I was reading the county. It was one of the county series. I can't remember the name of it was exactly, but it started in one area and then it ended pretty horrifically, and a lot of people kicked off about it, but I wasn't overly upset about it because I didn't like the guy anyway. But so anyway, it ended. Oh, Grant County. It was a Grant County series, and then I went to read the next one, wanted to know how it carried on from there, and the next one I got wasn't in that series, and I was like, "You're joking? You just started a whole different one," and that was the Will Trent series. And so I read that one, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't the one I wanted the answers to from the one before. But then the next one of that came out, and then it went back to the other one, and I was like, "What are you doing? You're driving
that
me
would
insane.
frustrate me
It's
so
going backwards and
much.
forwards." But then there was a book, I think it was called Undone, and they merged, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is just so awesome!"
Genius.
It was like, "Oh my god, they're together!" The two books combined, and it was awesome.
That is,
Like, it's the
I've
best
never
day
heard
ever.
of that before. That is
I
brilliant.
didn't see that coming, but yeah, I like a good book merge. I was like, "Oh my god, they're together now."
Never
So, yeah.
mind biggest plot twist, biggest like book series twist ever.
It is,
Having it
yeah.
all
No, they
merged.
put, because one was Sarah Linton, and she was the coroner and like the ones that do that. I can't remember, pathologist, and she also worked as a paediatrician because it was a small county, and then he was GBI, so he was the detective sort of thing who investigates other people's crimes that goes around the country. So they merged as with her doing the autopsy. It was it. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Brilliant.
Lock me down. And I liked that character better than the other one, which was so I was like, yes, I'm in. That's it. I will never stop reading this series now. I
Is it
just
still
finished the
going?
last one of hers as well. So, but yeah,
Is this series still going then? Is it carrying on?
it's still going. Yeah, it's actually a TV series now.
Really?
Nothing like it, but yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Will Trent.
Nothing like it.
So yeah,
I know it's always based off the book,
it's never the
but
same.
it makes me really hate it because the book is always better.
It is.
Follow the book and you cannot go wrong.
Yeah,
There's
I
one-
treat them as a separate thing when I
Yeah.
watch series. I treat them as a whole other story.
More
They never
than
look like
inspired
they say
by.
they do in the books, so
It's
you
like,
have to cut it off.
you know, the After movie series.
Yeah,
I read that, and that's what actually got me into reading because I didn't start reading until high school. I wasn't really connecting with it, so I got into that one. And they obviously say it's inspired by these books, but they still work with the author, and it's still very much following the story. And there was this one tiny, tiny detail that I hated that they changed in the movie. And if you've read it, it's like it's really significant in the book, and it's basically the male main character did not have any back tattoos because of a significant thing. And in the movie, he had them, and I don't know why. It was the smallest thing possible, but it drove
ruined the
me
whole thing.
insane. I was like, it just seems so significant to me. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
yeah, because it's important to the book, but it's not to the series.
Honestly, it was infuriating. So sometimes when I go into watching series or movies that have been a book, I have to kind of separate myself, but I still end up getting a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is another one of those. I read all of those, and I was like, no.
I mean, I never read them, but watching them in that last season,
Yeah.
No. But it's obviously because he didn't write
There's
it, did
so
he?
many things that were in the books that just didn't tally with how it ended in the... But there's a lot of books like that. I had the same thing with Bridgerton. But you have to watch Bridgerton, and I was like, they've changed everything. It's all out of order. They're showing the books in the wrong order. The whole thing's wrong. I really enjoyed the series, but it's wrong.
I haven't
It's not right at
read
all.
it yet. It's on my list.
Yeah, no, I've read a lot of things. I read a lot of genres, so I flick back and forwards depending on what mood I'm in. But yeah, there was I had that. There was another one with Aragon, I think, as well. I read all of those, and I was like, what? It happens quite a lot. But
No,
I try to leave the books a long time. If I've read the books first, I have to leave it a long time before I watch the series, so I've forgotten some of the details. Otherwise, I'd be like, no.
No, thank you. Would you say you're more plot-driven or people-driven in your storytelling?
Oof. It's a combination. I focus a lot on the characters.
Yeah.
Because it's their story essentially, and they scream very loudly. But there is a lot of plot as well. I like to keep people guessing, so there's quite a lot of plot because it sort of merged into something else, because it started very crime heavy, but as I moved through the family, not all of them work in the MCU unit, so it moved around to follow the story. It was based around the people more than it was based around the crimes that were committed, if that makes sense. So because it's about their lives, that's why it's not like DCI, this series, it's the haunted past, it's about their past. So it is more people, I would say, but there is a lot of plot.
There's still a roller coaster of a plot.
The romance side of it doesn't really kick in. It's there, but it's in the background. It's a slow burn for the first three, and then it sort of kicks in after that. So, yeah, because obviously crime, there's not a lot of time for all that. So, they get there in the end, but it takes time. So
Eventually, in anticipation. Yeah. What's your writing routine like? Was it be like more chaotic, or is it structured?
It's a bit of both. So I start with a plot. I have it all structured out. I have chapter guides, I have the lot. But it never goes to plan.
No.
The characters go a certain way, and I follow the trail of where the character's going, and I stay true to the character. So if suddenly that's how it goes, and then I have to change everything to fit. So it starts with a plan, ends up being something completely different. Book 7 was supposed to be Raven's story, but in book 3, it got to a point where she had to be next. So she went to book 4, so that it all went out of plan. So nothing went how it was supposed to. But the basic plot of it was still there. It just changed the order and how it happened. And the amount of times I get to the end, I'm like, I don't even know what I wrote. It just sort of went crazy in the middle. So I always end up where I'm supposed to end up, but it just goes nuts in the middle. It follows entirely. It's not even me. It's them talking. The whole thing is them. It's a bit like method acting, but in words. I was writing the fantasy one, and I had this thing in my head, and I was like, and then as I've read it, I've gone, oh no, that's not what I wanted. What are they doing? And it went in a completely different direction to where I thought it was going. So yeah, they take control of it. I'm just
I was going to ask. That was going to be one of my questions. Have you ever felt like a character's done something where you're like, I was not expecting that. Where did that come from?
Yeah, no, that's how it goes.
It's like your mind separates, and when you come back to it, you're like, what just happened? Give me a second.
It happened in the very first book. The editor that I was talking about, she said, the ending came out of nowhere. I said, yeah, well, it would. I said, because it was 3 different people. And I didn't know who'd done it until I had to work backwards when I figured it out. Because I thought it was going to be one person. And then I was like, as it progressed and their character developed, I was like, it can't be them. And then I had somebody else in mind, and as it went along, I was like, it's not them either. So I got halfway, and I was like, I know who it is. Like I was reading it, I know who it is. So then I wrote the last chapter and wrote backwards so that I could fit them in.
That is so funny, because I was speaking to another author last week, and the same thing happened to them. They're like, if you didn't know who the last character was going to be, or who the ending or whatever was going to be, it's because we didn't know. Yeah. We didn't know until it happened. Yeah, I had it. The plan wasn't what it was. Initially, it was going to be one, and it just, as they develop, as you write them and they start interacting with the other characters and everything, it becomes where it's not possible from what you've created. I mean, they sort of become something entirely different. And as I got along, I was like, it can't be that person. It's not them. And I was like, well, who the hell is it then? I'd like to know.
I have to write it now to find out what happens.
No, I absolutely love that. I honestly love it how these characters just have a mind of their own and just come out.
They're entirely their own people. Sometimes I was on my, we have a scribe tribe, so we have a group of authors that all speak together, and I go on there and I was like, that's it, I quit. What? And I said, I quit. I said, I've had to slam. I'm so disgusted with how this has all gone wrong. I said, I can't write. I can't even talk to them today. I can't deal with them today. They are out of order. That's not how it was going.
Do not
So,
talk to me.
I have like little tantrums. No, I don't like you anymore. I'm going to write a different chapter now. You're going to the naughty corner.
Oh, that is hilarious. Are there any sneak peeks or teasers you could give us for your next book?
My next book. Oh. Well, I've just had one released, so did you want that one, or do you want the one that's not out yet?
We can do.
I can do both. I know exactly which one. I know exactly which one, because it's one of my favourite scenes. I have a lot of those. I prefer these, the ones where they're a little bit, when they're crazy. The more fun ones. I have fun bits in between, because it makes it more like I've just got to find the right one. Where are they? Sorry, I'm doing it from my phone.
No worries.
Yeah. He's stormed off, and she's gone to cheer him up, but she's a little bit on the crazy side. She doesn't do anything like normal. So, it's Kerry arrived at Phantom's and looked around, unsure how to approach him. He might be a pain in her arse. He may even annoy her beyond belief. And despite her early protestations, she may still be a little bit pissed that he'd kissed Raven. But he was her pain in the arse, whatever that meant. It occurred to her then that she had never been the stable one in their strange partnership of sorts. He was the rock to her scissors, solid, dependable, unrelenting, while she cut through the shit and made a mess doing it. She was more a fly-by-the-seat of her pants kind of girl. Well, here she was, standing around like a lemon. Walking over his property, she tried to find a clever way inside. Like he always seemed to. He is a Marine. So he has the whole stealth thing down. She's not like that at all. So instead she looked around, spying something that would aid her. Picking it up, she shoved the brick in her hand through the window, smiling with satisfaction at the sound of the glass breaking. She loved that sound. She looked around at the remaining shards and swung the brick until they were all gone. Smashy, smashy, smashy. Then she looked at the window and realised it might be a little tight. Shrugging, she moved to another one, that looked like slightly larger. Lifting the brick, she prepared to swing it again. "Will you quit breaking my shit?" a voice bit out behind her. She jumped and hid the brick behind her, even though he had clearly seen her wielding it with intention to break the window behind. "Tink, what the fuck do you want?" Phantom said with exasperation. "I came to make you feel better," she said cheerily. "By breaking my windows?" he asked, raising a mocking eyebrow. "It's quite therapeutic. Want to try?" she asked enthusiastically, offering him the brick. So she has a real weird way of going about things.
I love
Even
that.
let her in, so she went and smashed the windows. Here, smash your own windows.
Immediate download. What's that? Which book is that one then?
That one is The Wanted Winters, and The Phantom and the Fury is their book. So that's the one that's due to come out. So the synopsis is: being reunited with her long-lost brother, she has been adopted into his foster family with open arms, and she doesn't plan to give that up without a fight. Caught in the crosshairs of a criminal network, she is ripped from her new family and forced to go on the run, a reality that infuriates her and leaves her baying for blood. One is wrath, the other rage. Who will win the war they wage? So
That does sound amazing.
it's a fun one.
Is that the one that's already released, or is that your upcoming?
That one's coming out next week, I think.
Oh, next week?
So,
How exciting.
Next week. So, yeah.
Have you had ARC readers for this one, or is it just going
Not yet.
straight
It's
out?
still... I've had a few people read it because I took it to the signings. I've already got the copies, so they've had a pre-release. So some of them have already read it.
Oh, nice.
I've had a few messages that say Toblerone, ha 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 ha, and I know what they mean. I know what.
No, I'm curious what they mean.
You know, she tells him he's like a Toblerone. She couldn't think of what she wanted him to be like, so she made it up. And she went, "Go on then, tell me, oh wise one, why I'm a Toblerone." And so she makes it up, and it's a whole thing. And also the Smarties. I had a lot of things about the Smarties. I made a joke, and it was a joke I'd actually made in real life, and had amused me ever since. And so I'd made the joke of it, and then they went on and on and on about the Smarties. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to have to do this. It was a joke. I didn't mean it. It was a Smartie test. She said, I don't sleep with guys who don't pass the Smartie test. I'd made it up then. It was funny. I'm still laughing about it now. So I thought, I'm going to put it in this book. It'd be hilarious. But it was only ever supposed to be sort of a fly-by comment. But because of that, it became a whole scene.
It totally
I
sounds.
said, I'm going to be that Smartie test girl. That's not how I saw this going. So, yeah. So I made it up. It doesn't exist. No TikTokers out there doing it.
There's no Smartie test.
But yeah.
Yet. There's no one doing it yet. But now you've made a thing.
I don't think they'd be able to film it, to be honest.
I'm so curious now. I just know anyone watching is just going to have to know what's going on. They're going to have to download your book.
It was a joke I'd actually made. It wasn't supposed to go that way, but it became a thing. 5 messages I got. 5 messages. Are we getting to the Smarties part? That's not a thing. That was never going to be a thing. It was a joke.
Never actually. You did put it into the book.
I
though,
put it
didn't
in the
you?
book. I put it in the book, but after I'd said what I said in it, they kept going on. We're doing the Smarties bit now. Is he gone to get the Smarties? And I was like, fine, we'll do Smarties. And just remember you asked for it.
Don't
Yeah.
come into me.
That's your own fault. You
I
asked
really-
for it.
I have to know what it is now. I have to. I'm gonna have to download it and read it. So curious.
Yeah.
Is this your first time attending the Armouries? Of you?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, I'm really excited about it. I'm all excited about that one.
Yeah,
I like
it's my
a Gothic
first time as
ball.
well.
It's like
Yes.
the perfect place for me.
Have you got an outfit sorted yet, or not yet?
No, not yet. I've got one in mind.
I haven't a clue. So
I have an idea.
I'm gonna probably end up leaving it till last minute. I'm gonna have to scrounge the internet, but I've got a few friends that go to the Gothic weekend in Whitby every year.
Yeah.
So they probably have something that I can borrow. But I don't know, do I go... I think some people are going quite extravagant with like wedding dresses that dye in black, aren't they? Like big dresses.
I won't be doing that.
Well, I don't have a wedding dress to dye black, so...
No, mine will probably involve face paint. I like a good face paint.
Oh, I'm so excited for that to bring creativity out. And I'm curious what people will be wearing in the day. Do you think that's just going to be casual? And then...
I'm not. Some people dress up, some people don't. It's
Yeah.
hard to say. It depends on the signing.
I think
who you
one
get
of the
there.
things was that I don't know if I'm supposed to be dressing up. That might have been one of the things of the volunteer role to dress up. So I'll think of that when it gets close to the time. You know, I'm very excited. It's my first time going. It's quite a big event, isn't it, as well?
It is, yeah.
And there's, I think most people I've spoken to so far, they're all new timers as well. So that's going to be really exciting to not be the only person there that's it's the first time going. I'm like, hello. Nice to see some friendly faces as well.
Yeah. I'll
So, yeah.
definitely be friendly.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
we
be
love
the crazy one in a corner somewhere.
Well, it makes every reader, especially a nervous reader, feel so much better if you are like so friendly and open. And everyone there
I
will
have
be.
like nervous talk, so I can just literally keep good.
Same. Honestly, don't even know what I'm saying half the time, but just go with it. Just go with it. But yeah, there'll be a lot of people that are nervous and authors as well. I mean, I definitely will be. I'll try not to stumble through my interviews, but no, it's going to be such a great time, and I'm very excited to see everyone and then meet you in person as well. So yeah, I'll be.
Maybe by then you'll know what the smartest is.
Yes, and I'll have to come to you like, what on earth? My mind is already conjuring things. I'm so curious.
You'll never get it.
I'm sure
Because I
I
made it
would.
up.
What did you think after you did it? You were like, what did I just write?
No,
Or was it not?
it was actually part of a conversation. I was in an off license, and somebody had asked for my number, and I said, "Oh no, I don't go out with anyone who doesn't pass the smarty test." So I'd made it up, and then as I was saying, I did it totally deadpan as well. So when I was telling him what the smarty test was, I did it completely straight face, and then afterwards, I just kept picturing whether or not he'd ever done it. He's gone home to check. I know, yes, he's gone home to try that. The image alone. It was enough. Even if he doesn't ever do it, in my head, he did it. He got drunk and gone, you know what, I'm going to try that.
I have to know that. I'm going to download it as soon as it comes
Yeah.
out, honestly. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, he did it. So it doesn't matter if he did or didn't.
Doesn't matter.
In my head, he did.
And just
I
that
still laugh
image, I
about
bet
it
it's
now,
like,
so-
quite funny.
It's even more funny to think that maybe other people might do it too. So now I've got like a whole world of people who might be trying. God damn. Take the
I actually
smarty
can't
test.
tell you how curious I am now.
Go
I'm
on,
so intrigued.
Tell me, did you pass?
But I'm very excited to meet you in person. To tell you about the Smarty trick as
I
well.
will tell you the full story then.
But yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Sorry about that mishap at the start of not
No, don't
recording
worry.
it. Honestly, losing. It's the first time I've really been getting into this, so I'm still
Yeah.
picking it up slowly.
It gets easier, I'm told.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Yeah, thank you very much for chatting with me, and I look forward to meet you in person.